Welcome to Productronica and the Mycronic booth here. I'm delighted to be joined by Kevin Clue. Great to see you again, Kevin.
Good to see you too, Trevor. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So last year, or 2 years ago at Productronica, we saw a new product launch on the pick and place side with the A40 machine. Yeah. I believe you've made some further upgrades to that. Maybe you can tell our viewers a little bit about what's been happening there.
Yeah, sure. So Productronica 2023, we launched the A40 DX platform, which is a dual beam platform that was is capable of placing 59,000 components an hour, so it's a mid-volume segment machine. Yeah. So that was released 2 years ago here at Productronica. Since then, in 24 and early 25, we added the SX and LX versions of that platform, which are single beam machines for a little bit lower volume, higher mix NPI type work. Still in the A40 platform. Mm-hmm. And now here we are in Productronica 2025, and we're launching the A41. Okay. The A41 is an evolutionary move in the platform that allows us to support bigger boards.
I see.
Bigger, heavier boards. So we can do up to 1,000 millimeters long, 609 millimeters wide, but also very heavy, very thick boards, up to 10 kilograms. And so we're now expanding the opportunities within the A40 product range with respect to the markets that we can serve.
I was going to say that's going to bring you into the communications market for the big 5G boards and these heavy power boards that are out there.
And also the military and defense segment, which we're known very well for, and also the ATE segment. So those guys all need bigger, heavier, very complex PCB assembly, and so that's where we're transitioning with the A41. So it's a nice evolutionary step.
Absolutely, absolutely. We've got a sample that we can see over here, but it certainly looks like it takes some pretty heavy boards. So the other thing that you've introduced on the booth this week is the jet printer. And the My 500 has gone through various iterations. Mm-hmm. We're now up at the My 700, is it?
My 700, yeah.
But you've made a change to some of the dispensing heads. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, sure. So we've been making jet printers for a long, long time. As you said, we started with the 500, went to the 600, went to the 700. Again, evolutionary change in our platform. But what we're releasing here at Productronica 25 is a new ejector. The ejector is the technology that the piezo uses to dispense the material onto the circuit board. And so this new ejector, we call it the BA ejector, allows us to accommodate a much smaller product range so we go all the way down to 180 microns, 1 nanoliter in paste volume, all the way up to 330 microns. Right. So what this does for a customer is, with a nice wide range of paste deposition, it gives us a lot more flexibility for the applications that we use. When you have AI server boards, you've got very high complexity, you've got fine pitch devices on very large circuits, you've got flex circuits that have their challenges. And so the ability to get down to a very small dot, as I say, 180 micron dot diameter, is a really big game changer for us in the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the miniaturization, the devices are getting smaller all the time. Yep. So you definitely need that capability to deposit the small dots. Okay. So that's that. And then, of course, the pièce de résistance you've got this week is the Genie system. That sounds very, very interesting. So tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, we call it Gen-I.
Gen-I.
And so Gen-I is our new evolutionary technology on our AOI platform. So Mycronic is a full turnkey solution provider.
Yes.
Screen printing, jet printing, SPI, pick and place, AOI. So one of the things that we've introduced here at the show is our Gen-I technology, which is a function on our 3D AOI system that, when partnered with a Mycronic pick and place machine, we're able to simplify the programming process with de-skilled engineering level folks, de-skilled technicians.
Right. So this is working. Instead of using a library system, you're actually using the live board itself and bringing in real data.
Right. We import the data coming out of our pick and place machine as our first baseline. We scan the first board that's come out of the line, and then we combine the data with pick and place with AI technology to create a program. And so we're able to program a board in 2 to 5 to 6 minutes or thereabouts. So a much quicker programming time, but I think the additional benefit that should be noted is we're able to do this with a de-skilled operator.
Right.
You don't need to be a PhD engineer to be able to program an AI machine anymore. We can do it with an operator level person. So
it's going to almost bring out a lot more other additional benefits as well, because you're working with real data, rather than a library, which can be like a tiny, a few millimeters out in terms of the size of some of these component devices and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a 3D system, so it's a metrological system. It's not a golden board AOI system. This is a measuring machine. And we're able to use neural networks to distinguish between the body of a component versus the lead of a component versus the solder fillet versus the circuit board itself. So we're using neural networks to make those definitions, but we're using the data that's coming out of pick and place as a starting point.
Right.
So so there's lots of advantages there from a programming perspective, as well as the level of person that you need to do the job.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you're going to get a lot more accuracy out of that, because I mean there is an issue where sometimes you get a reel of components and it runs out. The operator goes and replaces it with the next reel. Yeah. It's the same value of a component, but it's from a different manufacturer.
For sure.
And slightly different, just microscopically different sizes, and it ends up falling off the nozzle. If you're using real data, if you're using the actual data cut off the board, you're going to get a lot more accuracy. Yeah,
and as you say, it's a big definition, a big differentiator, I would say, for the machine. And using 3D technology, we're not just looking at presence, absence, skewing. We're looking at polarity marks on components. We're looking at OCR on the components. So we're doing that as well. And the other thing that I think is important to note is the automatic tuning within the process of our AOI machine. As you run more and more boards through the AOI, it automatically trims the library, if you will, and makes definitions between what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, what's a false call and what's not acceptable. And so as you run more and more boards through the machine, you're going to have an automatic trimming process. That data is going to continue to improve over time.
So is that moving into Agentic AI, where it's actually learning, it's reasoning?
Yeah, it's learning as it's going. It's learning as it's going, and as more and more data comes through the machine, so it continues to learn.
Right. Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah. So what's happening? It's changing fast, isn't it?
It is. It is.
It's an exciting time.
But I think the important point that if you don't mind, if I could make is, I think all of these are revolutionary steps to Mycronic being a full line solution provider.
Right.
So there's already a lot of synergy between our jet printer and our SPI machine, zero defect printing. We've talked about that before. Now we have relationships between our pick and place and AOI machine, and so there's a lot of correlation there. And it's all part of that evolution of the full line. And I think rather than buying a single machine from a single vendor and having to figure out the communication between back and forth, the ability to leverage one machine as for the next, I think, has a very powerful function.
I think you're right. I mean, we started out in the SMT industry with people buying full line solutions because they didn't understand what SMT was. Then we started going for best in class, as they called it.
Yep.
But of course, with the evolution the digitization of the industry and AI, is coming full circle back to the full line, because nothing's going to work better with a Mycronic pick and place machine than a Mycronic printer and a Mycronic dispenser. So it makes a lot of sense.
We've both been doing this a long while, right? So and I think one of the things that we notice in our customer base is they're all running a lot leaner these days.
Yeah.
No longer do you have an engineer dedicated to screen printer and another engineer dedicated to SPI and another engineer dedicated to pick and place. You have an engineer doing the lot.
Yes.
And I think, when you have customer base that's running a little bit leaner and they're requiring a lot more of their team, the ability to communicate from one machine to the next becomes more and more important.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And one of the things that's driving that as well, Kevin, is the fact that people are really finding it difficult to be able to hire operators and get enough experienced people into the factory.
Yeah.
So manufacturers are looking to add more automation to compensate for that.
Yep.
One way of doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where Gen I came from, right? Now you no longer have to have this PhD engineer who's been managing a program library for months and months and months.
Right.
You're able to use someone who's maybe not got the same level of expertise, the same level of knowledge, and you're still able to program the AOI with a true 3D system. I think there's lots of value there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, exciting stuff, and I want to thank you for showing it to us today.
No problem. Okay. Thank you much.